He would do a lot of foul shit. Like behind the scenes, he would do some foul shit, like hating on, like doing things with people I'd done business with that he done business with. He would say shit that I was like, he said that to you?
Right.
I was like, yeah, it's all right. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, and niggas don't know what they like till they see somebody with it. So they want the girls after you're done with them and shit.
Yeah.
The courtroom had
I said, all right, you feel me. Like folks never really know what they want until they see someone else with it. That's when they start chasing wanting the same girls after you've done with them. The courtroom had spoken, the headlines had moved on, and Diddy, he probably thought he could finally breathe again. But then, like clockwork, the chaos called for its King 50 Cent. Not with a lawsuit, not with a tweet, but with a video.
New baby oil.
Should start looking gray if you ain't got nothing on it.
Got the new baby oil, bro.
This ain't baby oil.
Nigga, you ran through 8,000 jars of them in prison.
Man.
You know what I mean? He was Ashy Larry.
Relax.
I mean,
I still got everybody looking.
50 Cent is back.
Yep, 50's back, and this time, he's trolling Diddy with an AI-generated roast fest. The clip shows Diddy wearing a ridiculous baby oil costume, poking fun at the bizarre stash of baby oil seized during the infamous raid. But this ain't just some random jab. 50 Cent's made it his mission to clown Diddy at every chance. Oh, the real question is, what's 50 planning next?
Diddy Combs and 50 Cent. These two go back a long time. They have been rivals for a long time. And this week we learned that, at least from Diddy's side of things, this feud apparently went far beyond words. 50 Cent's name came up during the testimony this week of Capricorn Clark. She is a former assistant of Sean Combs who went on to become the head of marketing for his Sean John clothing brand. Clark rose successfully and professionally through the ranks of Diddy's world during her time working for him, which stretched between 2004 to 2018, so she saw a lot. Clark claimed that Diddy would threaten her, and she says he even kidnapped her in 2011. All of this matters as we build up to how 50 Cent kind of factors into what she said on the stand. Now, Capricorn Clark started working for Bad Boy after she worked for Death Row Records.
The video, straight up insane, crafted with precision design to roast, humiliate, and obliterate the AI version of Diddy. Spot on, shirtless, glistening in baby oil, dancing around like he's starring in a cursed Super Bowl commercial. Background stacked high with bottles. Lights set for comedy, and the voice, deep-faked but eerily identical, delivering punchlines like a parody trailer for disaster. It wasn't just funny, it was lethal, and 50 didn't just post it, he timed it like a tactical strike, hitting right after the verdict when Diddy was trying to play it cool again.
Surprising, since Death Row was ran by perhaps Diddy's most hated enemy, Suge Knight. Clark said that one of her good friends had a baby with Suge Knight, and that's how she knew him. And in perhaps the most shocking story from her testimony, Clark claimed that shortly after she started working for Diddy, Diddy and his security guards took her to Central Park after dark, and Diddy said, quote, "He told me he didn't know that I had anything to do with Suge Knight, and if anything happened, he would have to kill me." It is an allegation that paints Combs as someone who is ready to take a life. But as Capricorn Clark's testimony continued, she brought up another rival of Sean Diddy Combs and another allegation that he made an ominous threat of violence. Clark testified, when working for Diddy, they went to a press event at MTV and 50 Cent was there. And just wait until you hear what she says Diddy told 50's manager. 50 Cent's real name is Curtis Jackson. He rose to fame in the early 2000s. You might remember songs like In the Club. You might remember that he was the leader of the rap group G-Unit. Now, 50 grew up in Jamaica, Queens, New York. Diddy, also a New York native. He was born in Harlem, grew up in Mount Vernon, New York, just about 20 miles away. And even though they both had success in music, they both rose to fame representing the city of New York and the rap scene there, they have been longtime rivals. In 2006, 50 Cent released a diss track about Diddy. So almost 20 years ago, this goes back a long way. And in that diss track, he says, quote, "Who shot Biggie Smalls? We don't get 'em. They gon' kill us all. Man, Puffy know who hit that expletive. Man, that expletive soft." Now 50 is accusing Combs there of knowing who killed his friend, the notorious B.I.G. Christopher Wallace. Wallace and Puffy were incredibly close, but Wallace was shot and killed in a drive-by shooting in Los Angeles in 1997, and no one has ever been charged for pulling the trigger. This all happened during really the height of the East Coast-West Coast rap rivalry of the 90s, which involved Suge Knight, who we mentioned earlier. 50 Cent has also accused Diddy of orchestrating the murder of death row rapper Tupac Shakur, who died in 1996 in a Las Vegas drive-by shooting. This is Dwayne Keith D. Davis. He was arrested in September 2023, and he is the only person facing charges related to Tupac's murder. But 50 Cent has continued to push the allegation that Sean Combs either knows something or did something for Tupac to end up dead, though Diddy has denied that. But in a 2023 Instagram post, 50 wrote, "Damn, so Pac got lined by brother love, LOL, time to lawyer up, expletive, might get sticky," with a pic of Suge Knight in a car with Tupac. Diddy, who has a lot of names, Puff Daddy, Puffy, Puff, and Brother Love is one of those other names. Now, from Diddy's side of things, again, he's denied having anything to do with Tupac's murder, and he's also denied having anything to do with Christopher Wallace's death, and he's denied publicly having issues with 50 Cent. Here,
that timing surgical were caption. Just one brutal sentence. If you got 1,000 bottles of baby oil, you better moisturize that ego. Boom. Timelines blew up. Views hit millions within hours. TikTok, IG, Twitter flooded. Reaction vids, remix, edits, meme madness. But it wasn't just laughs, people analyzed it like a Netflix doc, breaking down every detail. Because everyone remembered the raid, the mountain of baby oil, the deafening silence after the uncomfortable questions, and now, 50 Cent brought it screaming back into the spotlight. Diddy. Sources say he lost his mind, smashed a laptop, stormed out of a meeting. His team is scrambling, but the internet had already made up its mind. The clip wasn't disappearing. TikTokers reenacted it. Celebs reposted it. Even brands jumped into the mix.
Is taking shots at Sean Diddy Combs on Instagram.
Mad at me, I think I know why.
50 mocking his longtime rival after Diddy's arrest Monday night.
We brought him to New York about 2 weeks ago because we knew this day was going to come.
Where was 50 on Monday? Also in New York, making an appearance on the Drew Barrymore Show.
What are you looking for? And do you know what you're looking for?
Yeah, well, just real friendship.
Friendship, but not with Diddy.
You ain't a friend of mine. You ain't no kin of mine.
50 posting a sweet picture of him and Drew on Instagram, but the caption tells a different story.
I have a lot of fun.
Here I am keeping good company with the Drew Barrymore Show, and I don't have 1,000 bottles of lube at the house.
I'm not panicking. They are.
50 referring to the over 1,000 bottles of lube and baby oil found when the feds raided Diddy's home in March. One of many details revealed in his now unsealed indictment, which laid out the charges for his arrest.
Then it got worse. I'm announcing a 3-count indictment against Sean Combs, racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, and interstate transport for prostitution. Boom. On top of the viral humiliation, real legal heat dropped like a bomb.
While Curtis gave his 2 cents on the situation,
People love tragedy. You know, more than they love good news, no matter how you look at it.
Diddy's attorney, who maintains the rapper's innocence, tended to a media frenzy Tuesday morning.
I expect we're going to have an arraignment at some point later today.
This office is determined to investigate and prosecute anyone who engages in sex trafficking, no matter how powerful or wealthy or famous you may be. No one should doubt our commitment on that.
Even baby oil companies started dropping subtle ads, taking jabs. The mockery was global. But under the jokes, there was a message. Diddy had dodged serious charges for now, but 50's video reminded the world of everything: the raid, the silence, the weird details no one forgot. It wasn't just comedy, it was a calculated move. 50 followed up with another clip, 30 seconds of him laughing straight into the camera. Then he said, "That ain't even the real footage. Wait till you see what's next." That wasn't a punchline, that was a threat. Behind the laughter was a message. He's watching, he's documenting, and he's not stopping till Diddy is fully exposed. Industry insiders called it a PR bloodbath. No press conference, no denial, no exclusive interview could wipe that image off the internet. Even Diddy's closest allies started distancing themselves. Collabs canceled. Invitations dried up. When 50 clowns you and the world joins in, it's not funny anymore. It's fatal. That clip didn't show crimes. It didn't have blood, but it did something worse. It cracked the illusion. It turned Diddy, once the untouchable mogul, into a walking joke. And for a man who thrives off control and power, that's the ultimate takedown, because behind every laugh was a question nobody could unhear. Why did he have that much baby oil? Why was it hidden? And what else are we not supposed to know yet? The AI video might have been fake, but the discomfort, that was 100% real. And 50, he didn't just troll Diddy, he tore his entire image apart with a meme.
Combs said when he was asked about a beef with 50 in a 2018 interview with the radio show The Breakfast Club, Power 105.1 FM.
Hey,
Hey, yo, I don't have no beef with
I don't know why.
With Fifth. He loves me. He loves me.
Do y'all really
can't
have
see
a
it?
beef?
I mean, y'all can't see it.
No, we can't see
Y'all
it,
can't see
man.
that he loves me?
But see,
You really think that's hate?
If you look at 50's social media, you can see he has a lot of posts about Diddy. And this is what he posted the day that federal agents in Miami raided Combs' mansion ahead of his arrest on the charges that he's now on trial for. 50 Cent posted on X, now it's not Diddy do it, it's Diddy done. They don't come like that unless they got a case. 50 Cent also included a link to his G-Unit clothing brand in that post. While Diddy in the Breakfast Club clip said that 50 Cent actually loves him and there was never a beef, on the stand this week, Capricorn Clark said otherwise. Clark said that she was at this press event at MTV with Diddy and 50 Cent was also there, all of this happening in New York. Clark said, quote, after the interview wrapped up, myself, Puff, and Chris Lighty got in the elevator. Clark said that Lighty was an entertainment manager who, on paper, was managing Diddy at the time, but was also 50 Cent's manager at the time. Prosecutors asked Clark what happened in the elevator, and she said, quote, Puff told Chris, because they were having some sort of issue, like, I really don't like all the back and forth. I don't do that. I like guns. The prosecutor then asked, what's the issue with an individual? And Clark responded, he had an issue with 50 Cent. She said Combs was very serious when he said that. In this case, it has become common to hear testimony from witnesses about alleged threats by Diddy. In fact, several witnesses have said that Diddy regularly threatened to fire people, to beat people, like his former girlfriend Cassie Ventura, and in this case, making a threat involving firearms to settle a dispute per the testimony of someone who was one of his closest associates for more than a decade. Invoking gun violence and some sort of veiled threat, that could be scary for some, but apparently not 50 Cent. On Instagram, 50 posted right after his name came up in the courtroom, quote, cut, wait a minute. Puffy's got a gun? I can't believe this. I don't feel safe, with a picture that looked like an AI image of 50 Cent on a movie set looking serious. And he wasn't done. Shortly after that, he posted another AI image on Instagram of him in a Yankees hat with a very scared look on his face with the caption, oh my goodness, itty bitty Diddy wants me dead. I have to lay low. Sad face emoji. I think I'm gonna hide out at the playoff game tonight, LOL. Then the next day he posted what he did that night. He went to the NBA playoff game between the New York Knicks and the Indiana Pacers in Indiana. And you can see him here in a picture on the floor in a shirt that reads, quote, Free Diddy, playing into the trolling that 50 Cent has done to Sean Combs over the years, even before Combs was ever accused of what he is on trial for. Now, Combs' trial is expected to last another month at least. He's charged with racketeering, sex trafficking by force, and transportation to engage in prostitution. He has pleaded not guilty.
But the more they tried to shut it down, the more it exploded. Every takedown request only added fuel. It became the Streisand effect on steroids in 50. He wasn't sweating it. No press releases, no rants. Just sitting back and dropping emojis in the comments like he knew he already won. He didn't need to step into a courtroom. He had the entire internet. He didn't need proof. He had the culture on his side. And in this digital battlefield, Diddy lost the thing he thought was untouchable, his image, because in the court of public opinion, it only takes one meme, one perfectly timed clip, and boom, the story flips. Thanks to 50 Cent, Diddy wasn't the mogul anymore. He was the baby oil meme, a living joke, a glitch in the legacy he spent decades building. And the worst part, this was just the beginning. Because 50 was far from done. He had more clips, more drops, more truth hidden in comedy. And Diddy, he couldn't stop it, couldn't silence it, couldn't sue it away. Because once the world starts laughing at you, game over. Then 50 dropped the nuke. Limited edition, merch t-shirts with 1000 bottles club, hoodies with that AI Diddy image, mugs that read stay greased. It sold out in hours. Influencers rocked it on live streams. It wasn't just a joke anymore. It was a movement. A meme turned into money. And Diddy's team, they panicked, issued cease and desist letters, yelled defamation, threatened legal action, but that just made people laugh harder. The damage was already done.
I'm going to strike those, so it gives the jury less options to find him guilty of racketeering. It gives the prosecution less options to argue when it comes to a closing argument. And by the way, it goes back to a question we got earlier today during the lunch show. Somebody had said, how come the jury just doesn't get the jury instructions at the beginning of the case as opposed to the end of the case? Well, let's see what's presented. Let's see what's actually shown during the course of the trial. There might be insufficient evidence to actually move forward with some of these charges or some of these elements. So it's interesting. Now, what about sex trafficking? What were the arguments that the defense made for why the sex trafficking should be thrown out? And by the way, let me just say this. For the prosecution's point of view, they are arguing that Jane and Cassie were victims of sex trafficking, that Combs used force, fraud, or coercion to induce them to engage in sex acts with male commercial sex workers. Something of value was exchanged. There is a transportation element to it as well. What did they say? What did they argue for why this should be thrown out?
Well, everyone has to remember that Sean Combs is charged with 2 counts of sex trafficking, count 2 and then count 4. Count 2 kind of involving alleged victim number 1, that being Cassie Ventura, and then count 4 involving alleged victim number 2, that being Jane Doe. So in terms of their arguments for count 2 specifically, Alexandra Shapiro said, the key element here is what Sean Combs knew, and that they allege that Cassie didn't really communicate her reluctance to doing these freak-offs or hotel nights, as they were later called, that under count 2, the defense says that the relationship was toxic for many reasons, something that they've been kind of talking to all the way dating back to the pre-trial stuff. And the defense also kind of pointing out, they acknowledge that Sean Combs was, according to Alexandra Shapiro, she used the words regrettably violent. And so it's something that the defense acknowledged throughout the course of this trial, going all the way back to openings where they say that Sean Combs, and they admit he was violent with his girlfriends, and in this case, Cassie. And the defense says domestic violence is not evidence of sex trafficking, something that I think a lot of people who have been following this case on social media, some people think this way. But in terms of count 4, in relation to alleged victim number 2, that being Jane, the defense says that the evidence is insufficient and that Mr. Combs couldn't have known that Jane didn't want to participate in these hotel nights. Alexandra Shapiro said the evidence showed that Jane was willing to participate. Again, going back to just some of those text messages that the jury was able to see. And I kind of agree with you there, Jesse, where it did kind of feel like this is maybe a little preview, a little sneak peek of what their closing arguments are going to be.
And the internet, it smelled blood, and it wanted more. News channels couldn't dodge it. Late night shows turned it into punchlines. Comedy skits flooded timelines. It had gone mainstream. The baby oil meme wasn't just funny now, it was a masterclass in public destruction. And 50, he kept going. He started reposting old Diddy interviews, clips where he made weird cringy comments, moments people ignored back then. Now they looked shady. Suddenly, every word Diddy ever said, it was being put under a microscope. Then came the podcasts. 50 showed up everywhere telling stories, dropping little bombs, saying stuff like, "I told y'all back in the day. Y'all just didn't listen." And every episode he'd end the same way, pointing at the camera. Watch part 2. That wasn't trolling anymore. That was storytelling on beast mode. He didn't have to make claims. The internet was doing it for him. Every remix, every edit, every stitch, rewriting the truth into something people could feel. Not because it was proven, but because it felt real. And in a world where vibes matter more than facts, that's fatal. And Diddy, silent. No posts, no rebuttals, nothing. Not by choice, by necessity. Because now, every time he showed his face, it risked becoming another meme. Every sentence could become ammo. He wasn't just losing the internet, he was losing real life. Brand deals, gone tours, dead, TV spots, cancelled. Nobody wanted to be standing next to the next viral meltdown in 50. He just sat back and watched the collapse, posted a pic of a baby oil bottle on a throne. Caption, King of Slick, 5 million likes. Message received. This wasn't about justice. It wasn't even revenge. It was about the power of narrative. And 50 Cent, he owned it. Diddy survived court, but in the real arena, the digital world, he was losing harder than anyone ever had. And guess what? The show's not over. Because 50's got part 2 loaded and ready to drop. And this time, it's gonna be even worse.